everyone, my name is Misti Gaither and welcome to Quest, a journey into true crime and the paranormal. And this is a very special episode. I have with me here Miss Alice Jackson, and for those of you who know, she is the homeowner of the house in between, parts 1 and 2. You can see it on Tubi and also on Prime and streaming services. And this is such an honor for me and Brandon to be here to talk with you. I appreciate you inviting us. It meant everything to me. So how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Everything's good for me.
Good. Now, let's start about, you built this house around 1990.
Right.
Okay. I'm just really interested in the architect.
I had an idea in mind, and so I found a house plan that was similar, and I like the A-frame and I like the glass. I like a lot of light because I grew up out in the country, and I like being out in the woods, and so if I open these windows, the shutters, you can just, it looks like you're outside. So I picked that, and then I changed it a little bit. I put a balcony upstairs off the back bedroom. I like that. I closed the kitchen off because I'm not Martha Stewart, and I don't like to necessarily want people to see my kitchen.
Now, I got you on that. Now, for those of you, if you know Kendall and Vera Welton, they are the ones that actually did the documentary on this house. And this house has such a rich and strong history of whatever's here, a haunting. Now, they did a very thorough investigation and found a lot of spirits, stuff in the backyard, stuff in here. And I mean, lights will go on and off, the organ will play. Tell me, now you had like some difficulties, staying in the home sometimes. Has that gotten better, or is it, you just kind of deal with it?
Well, I think all the ghost stuff I've learned to deal with, because I have spent some nights here after that that second film. I've made an effort to, but I've been awakened several times when I did that. Sometimes I slept fine, 10 or 12 nights, nothing happened. One night I got awakened. I slept in the chair because I thought I might have to leave because I wasn't planning on staying here. And the weather was bad, and I just decided I'd stay here. But I got awakened at like 1:43 in the morning, and I write down all these times so we can roll it back on the camera. But and I heard Alice like right in my face, and I thought I was dreaming, and I thought, well, maybe that was in the dream, but it didn't fit into the context of a dream. And so I just covered my head back up and stayed there. And then a couple minutes later, I heard the real high, shrill REM pod sound, and that lasted for like 2 full minutes because we could hear it on tape. But I didn't have one in here, and I had them all off. I turned every one of them off because I knew I didn't want to be awakened by anything. So I'd wear an eye patch and turn everything off, and the sound still came. So I don't know if it's like a phantom sound. I don't know. Another time, I wasn't even here, but Brad checks the house on the cameras, and our house security system went off. And it has that high-pitched, shrill sound, it'll just burst your eardrums. And that lasted for 10 hours. I was not home, but it stayed on. And so when I called the company, they had no record of it at all. And I mean, I can't explain that, but that happened, and we have it on, audio.
Now, this is considered one of the most documented houses in America as far as being continuously documented about paranormal activity, because you had John and Brad, who's been here, maybe 15 years
Probably
now?
15, yeah.
That they're here a lot, especially probably on weekends and stuff, and that they, it's set up like a set, really, with, so much equipment to communicate and then to record, and you have your system, and and it's a lot of things that you can document. And so how has this changed your life?
It's been pretty dramatic because other people have taken a big interest, and I've had a lot of people call me or write me and tell me experiences that they've had. People around here have had experiences that I didn't know about and probably would never have met those people if this film hadn't been out. And so I think it's connected me with a lot of people, even people around the world, from different countries, different states. And sometimes they'll tell me something, and they'll say, something happened to me, especially regarding those lights or something like that. And they would say, I never felt comfortable talking about it, it, but I'm glad that you, said what you said, because now I can tell you my experience. And so they would tell me some of the weird experiences, lights. I think it's opened up the world to me to talk about it to people, and I think they feel comfortable talking to me about it. So that's been one of the best changes or benefits, is just meeting all the interesting people that have been affected by it.
And I really think that's good how, you're kind of taking it in stride and realizing that maybe that this is something that's, kind of like a calling for you, that where, a lot of times people, they're not comfortable, with talking about the paranormal or their experiences, afraid of backlash or being ridiculed or whatever. But, you've kind of become, someone, like you said, that they can say, well, like write you or whatever. And, Miss Alice, this happened to me. And you're such a kind and welcoming individual. And, and you can feel that through the films. And so you've kind of become like a receptacle for all these stories, and that you're being able to, in turn, help other people.
Well, I do kind of feel like it's a calling. I really do, because it feels natural, and I think the public attitude is changing, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad that people can talk about things. I'm glad that people can just be free to be who they are, and it seems like that's just something that's busting out all over. Just be who you are and don't apologize.
Also, not only is this house haunted or occupied by spirits, but also outside. I mean, like in the films, they had like scientists and different one, even the ground penetrating radar, and they really, and what was I impressed, because Steve from Ghost Hunters, he was also involved with the production, and I mean, such a thorough job was done. Instead of just walking in, this haunted, and this is how it is. It was really a lot of thought and effort put into trying to discover the truth and kind of backing up that it is haunted.
And they were not quick to label anything as haunted. In fact, they would go out of the way to try to find the 9 reasons why it wasn't. But if it couldn't be explained, then he would put it in there. And then the second one, I think he saw that and experienced some things himself, so he let us use more of our own video, our own EVPs and things like that.
Right. Now, you met a friend of mine, Sam Baltrusis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, clairvoyant, psychic medium, and him, and I believe her name was Jill Morris.
Yeah.
The other psychic, and I was so impressed, because, even, you see the walking sticks over here, and then she had picked up on that before she even walked in the door, and she, and both of them are such gifted and just really blessed. The gift of knowing, and so I really, I really enjoyed seeing how that they picked up on things and reacted. What would you say that you have any gifts?
I have a good, strong intuition. I don't have anything to back things on, but if I trust my intuition, things usually work out for me. Yeah, but I'm not clairvoyant. I don't hear things, see things, feel things like that, but I do have strong intuition, I think.
And that's a good gift to have.
Yeah.
Because if you believe in yourself and what you're feeling, I mean, a lot of people don't have that. They're just kind of like doubt themselves a lot. But you're like, okay, this is what I feel. I'm gonna go with this, and that's really a gift in itself to have.
Yeah, it does, because it seems to go well when I do that. If I go against that, it floods up.
So let's talk about your daughter. Okay, I know that she had passed, and but she's here, and so how is that like an interaction, and that you still get to have a relationship with her when a lot of people don't have that?
Her personality comes through. If she could do anything, she would, because she knows. And then her children come. She has 3 sons, and they come and they just talk to her like she's here.
That's beautiful, because it's like, she's passed, but
she's a part.
Yeah, she's still here. And to me, that's really beautiful that you still have a connection where a lot of people, they don't have that. So, I mean, even like the organ there, and that was a gift, a thing that y'all did together, and it's still, used for communication sometimes, that she'll do the organ and stuff. Where do you see like yourself in the future, you still see yourself here? You know, you've been here for what, 33, 34 years, something like that. And do you still see yourself here, or is there something that else you might think of doing?
Yeah, no, I'm satisfied doing what I'm doing. You know, I don't have a child anymore, but I have a niece, and she is so much like me, and we get along so well. So eventually I'll leave the house to her, because we've already talked about it, because she said she wants the kids to still have a place to come where they grew up and where they are familiar, and she has the same vision for it as I do. You know, she wants people to come, feel free to come, and you know, we let people explore, you know, and if they've got, we've had so many people on the first visit just get things that you couldn't get if you tried.
Sure.
You know, just accidentally, one guy got blue lights outside the window, you know, all the way across, and we've been interested in those blue lights, and he just got home and looked through his pictures, and he had it. Translucent figure that I just showed you,
yes,
going by the window. This was a first-time visitor, and she said she saw something, and she snapped a picture, and she got it. I'm always just waiting to see what the next thing is that somebody else finds here.
Hopefully
leave it open
we will.
for that. Well, we could too, but sometimes people get things maybe easier than I would. I mean, because we don't just come in and snap all the time, snap pictures.
Sure, sure.
But if somebody knew they're excited and they do stuff and they try to get EVPs and stuff and then a lot of times they do.
Well, let me ask you this, because I know you probably have a lot of traffic sometimes coming in and out of here. People interested, or does it still feel like home to you?
Well, it does. It really does, because I love my neighbors. I feel very comfortable with them. I like my house, and actually, the people that I do meet, in the grocery stores, or sometimes people will stop if I'm outside, and they're all nice. I mean, I haven't had any negative experiences. They've all been nice, all positive. So I think it's great that that they feel free to to talk to me.
I think that's great too. And one of the things that you said in one of the films was that, because people who don't know Florence, Mississippi, I mean, it's less than 5,000 people in the population. But you said, but ever since after the first film came out, that it kind of opened up a more of a communication for your neighbors and people in town. And I think that's really such a positive thing, that the people have embraced you and the home, and not everybody has that story. It would be like, oh, that's haunted, and but you have that.
I can tell you a good story about that. When Kendall came the first time, the producer, he was flying a drone, and so he went across the street to my neighbors across the street, and it's an elderly woman, and she came out there and she said, "Get off my lawn." She said, "I don't want any of that stuff brought over here," and so he came back. But when the film came out, in Walt Grayson, he's like a legend of newscaster in Mississippi. He's got Mississippi Roads, and people just love him. He really is. He's just an icon in Mississippi. And so they invited him to their church, like on Halloween, to talk about Halloween.
Oh, okay.
It was a good positive thing. And so they invited another member there, invited me too. So I went with Walt Grayson. Well, when she saw that, it changed her whole story.
You were okay then.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then she called me and she said, "Honey, y'all can use my driveway if you need more parking."
Wow.
So yeah, because I think the community centers have accepted it. The film and all that. It's been highly accepted. Yeah.
And like I said, that's a blessing, because not everybody has that, that embrace or however you want to call it from the community. So what kind of advice would you give to maybe someone going through a haunted home, and maybe they don't understand it, because you have such I think a really well-rounded understanding or acceptance of what's going on. What would you say to them that's maybe they don't know what to do, or they don't know, like how to interact, or even their, what words of advice would you have to give to someone?
Yeah, depending on what the activity was. I've never had any scare. I mean, it's not scary in itself activity. That's hard to say, because if they don't have a support system, I can see how it would be hard. I've had a tremendous support system. I think when John came the first time and validated that things were going on, and normal, for me and stuff like that. We never got hurt. He didn't think there was anything evil here, anything like that. I think I just gradually got used to the idea, because I remember the first time I heard those voices, EVPs recorded. I mean, I was just shocked, because I knew that like something fell, something did this. But when you realize that and you hear a voice, there's something attached to that, like there's a presence that can see you and hear you, but you can't see them and hear them, but you know they're here. So, and that still amazes me. But if I didn't have a support system, it would be hard, I think. I mean, if I lived in a haunted house in a rural area and didn't know anybody and things would fall at night and make noise, I'd probably still be scared.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Let me ask you, you were talking about John and Brad. Now, they're the ones they were like the very first ones who started documenting and everything of this house. Now, how did you reach out to them, or did they hear about it?
Well, actually, the first televised interview or the investigation that was televised was done by Brian Riley in Vicksburg, because I knew John, but we didn't televise. John recorded his own stuff, but the first televised attention-getting thing was on the Channel 16 News, Darren Dito, because this was a long time ago before it was popular or anything, but he had won an Emmy for paranormal investigative reporting, and somebody at work told me that, and so I called him, and I was very nervous about calling him because I still felt very silly calling him. But he said, "Oh yeah, I'll come out." And he said, "Do you want it televised? Can we get it televised? Because they're going to do it before Halloween." And so he got Brian Raleigh, because he was head of Mississippi Paranormal Society. So Brian came, and that's the first documented thing. But John was already here. But and then later Brett came, and then Walt Grayson, who I told you does Mississippi Roads and stuff like that. He did several little TV spots. Like at Halloween, he'd do a little 5-minute segment or something like that. So anytime anybody was interested, we got plenty of audio, video. So it just kind of grew from there.
Well, the contributions that I believe that you're making to the paranormal world, immeasurable. Oh. I really do, because, years from now, people will be able to look back and research and maybe learn more about what's going on. And I think that speaks so much of your character. And that you have willingly opened your home. A lot of people wouldn't do that. It'd be, they want to keep it private, or they're worried about what someone must say. But you're not like that. You're like, look, this is my home, but you're welcome to be here.
You can explore. Now, that's the biggest compliment probably that I can remember that I've ever received. And I appreciate that, because I feel like that goes along with my life purpose, or being in alignment. I feel like that's what I need to do. And sometimes you don't understand why you need to do what you need to do, but you know that's what you're supposed to do. And I do feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. I feel like opening it up, I think maybe to scientific research in the future, I think that is what I'm supposed to be doing.
And you know what? I think you're doing a great job.
Oh.
I really do.
Well, I think you're always happy when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and I'm happy.
Well, good. Well, you know what? If you haven't already, please go and check out The House in Between. It's part 1 and also part 2. You will not be disappointed. And, when you think of Florence, Mississippi, you'll always think of Miss Alice. Or, so that's really great. And, we can learn a lot from her in as far as, like I said, like giving of yourself, and just, opening your home and trying to make things better. And the part, not only are you helping the living, but you're also helping those that passed over. So have a good night. Thank you, Miss Alice.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.